You hear the grass move behind you. You freeze. You do not have claws. You do not have fangs. You are not the fastest animal on the plane. And somewhere in the darkness, something built to kill is watching you. For most of human evolution, this was not a nightmare. It was part of the environment. Your ancestors lived beside big cats, hyenas, crocodiles, snakes, bears, and even large birds of prey. Some hunted from the ground, some waded in water, some attacked from above. So how did an animal with thin skin, weak nails, and no natural weapons survive? The obvious answer is intelligence. But that answer is too simple. A clever animal alone can still be eaten. Your ancestors survived because intelligence became something larger. It became vigilance, cooperation, memory, fire, weapons, and the ability to make one frightened individual part of a dangerous group. To understand how serious the threat was, you can start with a child. Around 2 million years ago, a young Australopithecus africanus died in what is now South Africa. The fossil became famous as the Taung child. For decades, researchers argued about what had killed it. Then paleoanthropologists Lee Berger and Ron Clark compared the bones from Taung with the remains left by modern birds of prey. The pattern was disturbing. The damage around the eye sockets and the way small animals accumulated at the site were consistent with the work of a large eagle. Imagine that.
You are small.
You are young. The danger is not only in the grass. It can fall out of the sky. This changes the picture of early human life. A tree is not automatically safe. Open ground is not automatically safe. Water is not safe. Darkness is not safe. Even the places that protect you from one predator can expose you to another. At Swartkrans cave, also in South Africa, fossils tell another brutal story. Paleoanthropologist C.K. Brain spent years studying how bones accumulated inside caves. His work helped overturn the old image of early humans as fearless master hunters. Sometimes, the humans were the hunted. A famous juvenile hominin skull fragment from Swartkrans, known as SK54, carries punctures long associated with the canine teeth of a leopard-sized predator. Other studies of the cave assemblage have shown that multiple carnivores contributed bones to such sites. So picture the problem from your ancestors' point of view. You find a cave. It blocks the wind. It gives shade. It has walls at your back. Perfect shelter? Not necessarily. A leopard may also want that cave. A hyena may already use it. A sleeping place can become a trap if there is only one way out.
Survival, then,
begins before the attack. You do not beat a leopard after it leaps. You try to make sure the leopard never gets close enough to leap. That means attention becomes a survival tool. A snapped branch matters. Birds suddenly going silent matters. The direction of the wind matters. Fresh tracks in mud matter. The smell of a carcass matters because a carcass can mean food, but it can also mean the animal that killed it is still nearby. Your ancestors who noticed patterns had an advantage. Not perfect knowledge. Better odds. And better odds, repeated across thousands of generations, are enough to change a species. But vigilance has a weakness. You cannot look in every direction at once. A group can. One pair of eyes watches the grass. Another watches the children. Someone else notices movement near the water. Another person hears something behind the trees. The group becomes a living alarm system. This may be one of the most important reversals in human evolution. Alone, you are vulnerable. Together, you are confusing. A predator wants a target. A single body. A moment of separation. A tight group creates noise, movement, sticks, stones, shouting, and multiple attackers facing outward. Even a powerful predator can be injured. And for a wild predator, injury can mean starvation. Your ancestors did not need to be stronger than a lion. They needed to make attacking them too expensive. That is a very different kind of power. Consider what happens when danger appears at the edge of camp. One person sees it first. The body changes instantly. Heart rate rises. Muscles tighten. Attention narrows. But instead of running alone, that person signals. Others turn. Children are pulled inward. Adults face the threat. Stones are lifted. Sticks become longer arms. Voices become one wall of sound. The predator has lost the easiest version of the hunt. This does not mean every encounter ended well. The fossil record makes that impossible to believe. But survival does not require invincibility. It requires enough people to survive often enough to teach the next generation. Then came another advantage. Fire. At Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa, researcher Francesco Bernat and colleagues reported microscopic evidence of burned bone and ashed plant material in sediments dating to about 1 million years ago. The evidence indicates that fire burned inside the cave. Fire changed more than food. Imagine the night before, reliable fire. The sun disappears. Your vision weakens. Many predators become more dangerous. Now imagine a controlled flame.
It gives light. It creates smoke.
It extends activity into darkness. It may discourage some animals from approaching closely, even though fire was never a perfect force field. Most importantly, it changes the shape of the night. Without fire, darkness belongs mostly to whatever can see, smell, or hunt better than you. With fire, your group creates a bright center. You can see faces. You can watch the edge.
You can wake someone.
When the flames weaken, the camp becomes easier to defend. But there is a twist. Fire itself creates a new survival problem. It must be fed. Someone has to collect fuel. Someone has to keep it alive. Someone has to understand which wood burns,
which soaks,
and what happens when wind changes direction. A technology is only useful if a group can maintain it. So survival was never just about inventing something once. It was about building routines around it. The same is true of weapons. A random stick can help. A shaped wooden spear is something else. At Schöningen in Germany, archaeologists recovered an extraordinary collection of ancient wooden weapons and other worked wood. Their exact age has been debated and refined, but the finds show that humans in the Middle Pleistocene were making carefully shaped wooden hunting weapons long before metal existed. A spear changes distance. That matters. Claws are deadly at arm's length. Teeth are deadly at arm's length. A long wooden point lets you threaten an animal before its body reaches yours. And when several people hold spears, the group becomes harder to rush. The same tool used to hunt large animals could also change how dangerous a human group appeared to predators and competitors. Even if archaeology cannot tell you the story of every individual confrontation, technology did not make your ancestors fearless. It made fear more useful. Fear tells you to pay attention. Memory tells you what happened last time. Language, gesture, and social learning allow the lesson to move into another brain. Do not drink at that bend after dark. Do not sleep beside fresh tracks. Do not approach the carcass until you check the trees. Keep the children inside the group. Feed the fire. Listen when the birds stop calling. A predator learns by surviving encounters. So do you. But humans gained an unusual advantage. One person could learn a lesson, and many others could benefit from it. You do not need to be bitten by a crocodile to fear the water if someone can show you where the crocodile waits. You do not need to lose a child to an eagle if older people already know that small children should not be left exposed. You do not need to discover every danger personally. Knowledge can arrive before the teeth. That may be the real secret. Not bigger muscles, not faster legs. Information. Shared information. The landscape itself becomes a map of invisible danger. Tall grass is not just grass. It is cover. A narrow trail is not just a path. It is a place where movement can be predicted. A water hole is not just water. It is a meeting point for thirsty animals and the predators that understand thirst. A cave is not just shelter. It must be inspected. A tree is not just escape. It may contain a threat of its own. Your ancestors survived by learning that every place has a second meaning. And then, they taught those meanings to others. This also explains why children mattered so much. Human children are unusually dependent. They need years of protection. In a world of predators, that sounds like a terrible design. But a long childhood also creates time to learn. You watch adults read tracks. You learn which sounds make everyone freeze. You learn how close is too close. You learn where to stand when the group moves. You learn what fear means before you can explain it. By adulthood, survival is not a list of rules. It is a way of seeing. And that way of seeing can become so automatic that you barely notice it. Modern humans still do this. You enter a dark parking lot and look around. You hear footsteps behind you and become alert. You feel uneasy when you cannot see what is hiding beyond the edge of the light. The predators are different now. The reaction is ancient. For millions of years, your ancestors were shaped in a world where missing one signal could be fatal. Yet here is the strangest part of the story. Humans eventually became one of the most influential predators on Earth. The animal that once appeared in the food chain as prey began hunting large game, defending camps, occupying dangerous landscapes, and competing with carnivores for space and food. That transformation did not happen because your ancestors grew claws. They never did. It did not happen because they became the fastest. They did not. It happened because weakness forced a different strategy. See danger earlier. Remember it longer. Warn others faster. Stand together. Control fire. Extend the body with tools. Turn one lifetime of experience into knowledge that can survive after the individual is gone. A lion is born with weapons. You are born needing lessons. At first that seems like a disadvantage. Over time, it became one of the greatest advantages any animal ever developed. So imagine the grass moving behind you again. You freeze. You still have no claws. You still have no fangs. But now, someone beside you sees what you cannot see. Someone behind you protects the child. Someone reaches for a spear. Someone feeds the fire. The predator is still powerful, but you are no longer alone, and that is how an animal that looked easy to kill became one of the hardest animals on Earth to erase.